Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with the next lesson in the Alpha Wolf Learning, Development, and Course Creation course. And this lesson's all about understanding the difference between theoretical knowledge and experiential knowledge. So, your courses are going to have a separation, or they're going to comprise of both, to be an effective course, of both experiential knowledge and theoretical knowledge. So basically, there's a bit of a difference between theoretical and experiential knowledge. Theoretical knowledge is sort of thought or theory based knowledge, i.e., if I'm learning algebra, that is theory. If I am doing or practicing algebra, that is, experiential knowledge. So we think about it like this. The theory is the underlining theoretical framework or conceptual framework that makes up the understanding of how to do, and experiential knowledge is the knowledge gained while doing. Does this sort of make sense? So, in your business, any sort of like knowledge or anything that you're trying to like do a course on. Okay, it's going to comprise of, 50-50, 60-40, 70-30 experiential knowledge or theoretical knowledge to experiential knowledge. Think about it like this. How much do I have to explain about what I am doing to sort of give the buyer or the participant of the course like a clear understanding of how to do what they need to do. So what is the meaning behind the actions that they are looking to take? What is the meaning behind, you know, the different aspects that we are taking into account? So like there are many different ways we could see this, but like if we were thinking about it in terms of, you know, your business and, like let's say we were doing a course for staff members on how to operate and function within sales. Okay, so you were doing a sales course to of your process on how you sell to your buyers and how you identify your buyers. What is selling to your buyers mean? What is identifying your buyers mean? Theoretical knowledge is the knowledge where we are explaining the difference between a buyer and a non-buyer, the difference between, someone who wants who is our ideal customer and wants and needs the products and services that we offer, and someone who is, you know, a non-buyer or someone that should not be pushed into buying. Do you sort of get it? Like we're going through and with the theoretical knowledge, we're explaining the difference between, pressuring someone into the sale instead of, having someone jump at the opportunity to be in the sale and things like this. So like we're able to give all of the sort of auxiliary or additional information that helps in shaping the staff members' understanding of why, even if I pressure someone into the sale and get the sale, like why would that be a negative thing? What are the negative repercussions that will come from that? You know what I mean? So things like higher turnover, or refund rates, or disgruntled customers. Do you know what I mean? Lower or poorer, like performing customer reviews or customer engagement. So it's sort of, it depends. Like we've all been there where you've been in a store and someone sold you on a stupid product that you didn't need or you didn't really want, and you sort of just said, yeah, okay, I get it, I'll buy one. And then sort of like you buy it thinking that it's this, this idea that I'm going to use it. And think about it like in terms of tools. So many men and women buy stupid things, like it might be a magnetic, you know, or it might be like something to pick up trash with, or something, or a magnetic pole to pick up screws and things like that. And it's like they sell you on how great it is, and it's only $10 and all of this, and it's so great. And you get home, and 6 months later, you haven't even taken it out of the box because you had no need or want for it. Do you sort of get it? It's no more difficult to bend over and pick up. Now, that being said, people with mobility issues, for example, if I was in a wheelchair or if I had, arthritis or something like that, that becomes highly valuable to me. So it's not that the product isn't valuable, it's that I'm not the target audience for the product. Do you sort of get it? So if I was creating a sales course for my sales staff to understand who are the ideal buyers and who are the right people for it, like it's not about just getting the sale, it's about getting this, like identifying the right people that benefit from them and communicating at the highest level to them. So when we think about this, we're thinking about all the different experiential knowledge of the doing. So how do I communicate to them at an effective level? But what is communicating at an effective level? So this is the marriage between theoretical and experiential. Theoretical would be explaining what is communicating at a high level, and then through the demonstration or the action of doing, I am building up the experiential knowledge of how to communicate at an effective level. Do you sort of get it? So we just understand that, like, if we think about it like this, our experiential knowledge is knowledge that we have gotten from or gotten through doing the practical action or the work or the activity and developing additional information. Because I might say, you know, communicating at the highest level is communicating with clarity and purpose and communicating clearly. But then in the experiential understanding of communicating with my ideal buyer, communicating directly to their needs. Like, for example, if we take the same approach or the same sort of scenario where we've got a magnet on a pole for people with mobility issues. You know what I mean? Communicating effectively is communicating to their wants and needs, to their pain points. So, like, it might be like, do you hate it when, you sort of drop a screw or something like that, or you drop some nails or screws down beside the cupboard and you cannot get down there to get it? Or are you tired of having back pain from always bending over to pick things up? So I'm able to identify a commonality between my ideal buyer and then start talking directly to their pain points and demonstrating through the conversation how the product overcomes these and how it makes it simple and easy for them. Do you sort of get it? So it's an important thing to realize is while everyone has the potential to be your ideal buyer, not everyone is your ideal buyer. At a certain point in time, everyone will start to have mobility issues within their life. Do you sort of get it? So everyone has the potential to be in this scenario, your ideal buyer for this, but it's to the level in which they are going to do it. So, like, am I going to go to the cupboard and pull out this stick with a magnet on it to pick up a screw? If the likelihood is high, I am an ideal buyer. If the likelihood is low because I would just bend over and pick it up and there's no stress, then the likelihood is I'm not your ideal buyer yet. Do you sort of see? So, what we want to really understand is when we're understanding the difference between theoretical knowledge and experiential knowledge, is it's just the marriage between how I do it or how to do it, the conceptual understanding. Okay. And we could even say, like, it's theoretical knowledge how to pick up a screw. Do you sort of get it? Like, and then, like, So, like, if you wanted to understand this at a high level, think about it like workplace health and safety and lifting boxes. There is theoretical knowledge on how to lift a box that I bend my knees at a, 80% degree or 80% or a 90 degree angle, and then I reach out my hands and I keep my core tight and then I lift up. And then the physical action of me doing that will then be the experiential knowledge. But when I'm explaining it, and I explain the reasons and the valid reasons for it, that you don't want to, rupture a disc or, damage your lower back or tear your muscles or whatever it may be, like I'm talking from past experience. So I'm able to utilize past experience to translate the message at a higher level. So just realize that like I can talk through the experience as I do it, or I can talk in past experiences. And this is very important because throughout the majority of history, our language and all of this and our communication was primarily verbal, not written. It's only recently that written communication has become dominant, in the last 300 or 400 years. But prior to that, all communication was verbal. So when I would explain something to you, I would be explaining it through not so much theoretical knowledge, but I would be explaining it to you through experiential knowledge. So just realize it's very, very powerful when we think about creating courses. And if you think about creating courses for your customers, creating courses for your staff, or creating courses to demonstrate the value of your products or services, then what we're thinking about is the most potent way for someone to understand is if I can help them conceptualize it through their own experience. And we do this predominantly through experiential knowledge. So theoretical knowledge is usually, if you want to think about it like this, theoretical knowledge is third person. Do you sort of get it? When you pick up a box, you keep your back straight. When I pick up a box, I tighten my core and I want to have my muscles so that they're, in a state of being active, so that they're not going from being like sort of loose or inactive to a state of active, because that's where damage happens. When the muscle is active, it, so to speak, cannot be damaged unless under immense strain and pressure. Do you sort of get it? So when I'm thinking about experiential knowledge, it's from the first person, my experience. When I'm thinking about theoretical knowledge, it's from the third person. Do you sort of get it? So just realize that, and this will make up the sort of the information or the way in which you present information. Do I want to present broad information from a third person or an unbiased perspective where I'm saying, you know, you cook or the pasta cooks for 3 minutes, or I say I cook the pasta for 2 minutes and 58 seconds because that's the ideal time that I have found. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important because we don't want to be like certain things are better explained through theoretical knowledge. Other things are going to be better explained through experiential knowledge. Experiential knowledge will always be more powerful, but to grasp theoretical frameworks or theories or conceptual frameworks or conceptualization or understanding, theoretical knowledge is going to be better. Do you sort of get it? Because I can talk in a way that allows me to, like, for example, if I was talking about the economy and how the economy works, I wouldn't be talking about it from my experience of how the economy works because that's such a small portion of it. It's a very specialized or specific area. It's my interaction with the economy, not the economy as an overall. So if I was talking about sales and we were doing a course for selling, like if I'm talking about communicating to the buyers or to different segments of the buyers, I can have my way in which I communicate to them. But if I was trying to give them an understanding or a level of understanding about the variety or different ways in which you can communicate to them, then I would be talking theoretically because like I have a certain capacity for how I can interact with it. Do you sort of get it? So it's very important for us to understand this, that theoretical knowledge is typically like generalized or general knowledge, and that's why we call it third person, because it's knowledge that is external to me. And experiential knowledge is first person or specialized knowledge because it's knowledge that is internal to me. It is knowledge I have experienced. Do you sort of get it? So when you're making your course, we don't want to be only theoretical or we don't want to be only experiential because then we are self-limiting our ability to communicate at a high level. So we will always want to have a balance between theoretical and experiential knowledge so that we're able to sort of paint a broad picture that helps people grasp overarching concepts and then give specialized or specific information that helps them in the ability to operate within that knowledge in a specialized format. Do you sort of get it? So if I'm doing theoretical knowledge on, a sales practice or sales processes, and I'm just giving them overarching understandings of, what is overcoming objections, and I'm not giving them how I overcome objections or ways in which, I overcome the objections or ways in which our company overcomes the objections, they will understand the concept of it, but then they will have to go out there and figure it out for themselves. Does that sort of make sense? So, like, if we jump back to the analogy about the economy, if I tell you the overarching aspects of the economy being supply and demand, and how that influences pricing and how that influences the movement and creation of industries and the way in which those industries grow. That's all great, but you starting a business tomorrow isn't helped by that. Do you sort of get it? Because you got to go and figure out everything for yourself and test and measure. But if I was to tell you about the overarching ones, and then I told you about a specific niche in business, so let's take me in personal development. Okay. And I'm telling you about how personal development works within the economy and who I target. Well, that's going to give you a good and an easy approach to then formulating your own understandings on the economy. Do you sort of get it? So if we were thinking about it like this, and we were thinking about it in terms of goods and services, and then digital goods and services or products and services, like physical products and services, and then digital products and services. If I'm telling you about digital products and services, how I put them together, and then how I market them and bring them to market, like I'm able to show you a roadmap of how to do it. But if I'm just generally talking about digital goods and services and how they interact within the market, like you'll have a conceptual understanding or a very generalized understanding of it, but you won't have the specific tactical understanding. Do you sort of get it? The tactics of how to do it? So it's very important when we're thinking about this because what we are trying to do is provide or transfer value through courses to our ideal buyer, i.e., our students or our customers, or to our staff. So it's like there has to be a balance between the sort of experiential, which is the general or overarching strategy or strategic view, and then or the theoretical, which is the overarching strategy or strategic view, and then the experiential, which is the tactics. Do you sort of get it? The how to do it. Do you sort of get it? So, like, for example, in these courses, these are introductory courses. So, I am telling you mostly the overarching strategy of how to develop a course, of how to understand learning and development. Do you sort of get it? I'm not going directly into the tactics. Do you sort of get it? But in a more specialized, if I was telling you how to develop a sales course for your sales team, like then that would be more tactic based because it's specialized to you. If I'm doing a general understanding or an introductory course into it, I'm trying to look at the broad picture and give you a conceptual understanding. So just realize that different styles of courses or different courses that you create will effectively require different ratios between theoretical knowledge and experiential knowledge. Do you sort of get it? So, like, for example, I'm giving you experiential knowledge by explaining to you what experiential knowledge means to me. But I'm also giving you theoretical knowledge because I'm giving you the overarching conceptualization of how you would use that. Do you sort of get it? Because it's external to me how you would use it. Does that make sense? So just think about that difference. Theoretical knowledge is external to me. Experiential knowledge is internal to me. Does that make sense? It's very important that we understand this because just understanding this sort of breakdown of it allows me to then segment my course to understand how much am I talking external to me and how much am I talking internal to me. And then what is the ratio that's going to help it? So if I was teaching you how to, for example, take a very simple thing like digging a hole. If I'm teaching you how to dig holes for a broad range of things I've never done, well, that's theoretical knowledge. Do you sort of get it? But if I'm teaching you how to dig a hole that I dig every day, 7 days a week, it's experiential knowledge because I'm just telling you how I do it. Do it like this. This is how you do it. So you'll see it throughout your life and throughout your experience of learning within life that these are the two forms of knowledge that allow us to grasp not only concepts, but then to be able to operate within those concepts or those conceptual frameworks or those theoretical frameworks. Do you sort of get it? Very important to understand this because understanding this is just the ratio between understanding what is the purpose of my course. So, i.e., if I'm doing a course on how to dig a hole, like why am I doing a course on how to dig a hole? Because we're laying, let's say we're laying telecommunications lines. So, the more specific my purpose behind the course, okay, the more specialized my knowledge can be. If I'm doing a general course on just digging holes, like, I don't know, maybe I'm talking about digging a 30-meter trench, maybe I'm talking about digging, a 16-meter hole. Like, every one of them will have different sort of like priorities or different variables within them that I have to address. Do you sort of get it? So very important to understand this because we're just understanding like if my purpose is to create a specialized course, then it's going to be a lot heavier on experiential knowledge and very refined theoretical knowledge. So very direct theoretical knowledge that I'm teaching you how to dig a hole, but I'm not teaching you how to dig a hole with an excavator, how to dig a hole with a shovel, how to dig a hole with, a teaspoon, like all these different things. Like I'm teaching you a specific thing, and we'll say we're using a shovel. I'm teaching you how to dig a hole with a shovel. Do you sort of get it? So that's never going to change. The tool isn't going to change. I'm not introducing a shovel, then a pickaxe, and then let's say a crowbar and things like that. Like, do you sort of get it? So just understanding that when I know the purpose of my course or the purpose behind creating the course, I am then able to refine or determine how specialized the course needs to be. The more specialized it is, the more experiential knowledge, like the ratio of experiential knowledge to theoretical knowledge, the more introductory, the more theoretical knowledge to experiential knowledge. Do you sort of get it? Because it's the relationship between the two. If I'm doing a specialized course, you already have the general information. If I'm doing an introductory course, you don't understand the general information. So I first have to build that cache of general information before the specialized information makes sense. Do you sort of get it? So it's an important thing to realize because, like, if you look at it, it's why when someone is completely new into an industry or into a role or into a job or whatever it may be, okay, it seems like they make a lot of stupid mistakes or they can't grasp simple concepts. And that's simply because they don't have the introductory or generalized information or knowledge for the specialized information or knowledge. So if I try and teach them the specialized information or knowledge, there's no context to relate back to for the overarching themes. So just understanding this allows you to create more like productive or more sort of efficient or effective courses because you're able to understand the general understanding needed for the information you are presenting. So if we said digging a hole is very, very simple, it's literally just putting a shovel to the ground and then lifting the earth out of the ground. Like it's not rocket surgery. But if we're talking about digging a hole for telecommunications wiring, well, there's a lot of general information that we have to understand and a lot of specialized information around depth, around the way in which the hole has to be dug, and all of this, and the way in which the cables have to lay and how far down they have to lay. Like, do you sort of get it? Like there's all the legislation and all of the codes and things like that that we have to uphold. So just realize like there's a lot of information that we tend to overlook when we don't understand the different forms of knowledge that we are trying to transfer, but also when we don't understand the prerequisites of the required general information. So this is why a lot of businesses and companies have introductory or induction courses prior to new staff starting, so that they're able to give them the basic general information so that when they get out there, they have the context between why they are doing it this way. Do you sort of get it? So that's the power of these courses is they just allow us to educate staff, employees, or staff or employees, customers or students, whoever you want it to be for. But we're able to educate them on specific levels of general information to specialized information. So theoretical knowledge and experiential knowledge. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.